Hey guys, welcome back. In this week, we'll be going over how to color and render your 3D models. So, for those of you who have got an empty scene right now, we're going to be creating our first model, our simple model, using some of the simple objects that I showed you in the last class. So, if you haven't watched that, go back and make sure you've watched that. This will also be your first assignment submission, so keep that in mind moving forward. So first off, I want to get rid of this because I do not want to use the cube. I'm going to use Shift A, and we are going to import Suzanne, the monkey. I'm going to shade smooth so that it looks nice. I'm also going to go into edit mode. You do that by doing tab, right click, and subdivide so that I can get those smoother edges. And I just subdivided it twice. Now, after we finish this, I'm also going to put a hat on Suzanne. So let's get started with that. I'm going to start with a cylinder because I kind of want to go for like a top hat approach. And I'm going to actually hide Suzanne while we're doing this. Shade smooth. Go into tab mode, and we're going to go into X-ray mode so we can see kind of what we're doing. I'm going to press E to extrude. I'm going to go down maybe about 2. And then I'm going to go E, extrude. I'm going to put it back by pressing right click. And then I'm going to press S to scale the extrusion. I'm going to move it just a little bit outward. And you can see in the top right corner where it says scale how much I'm doing it. I've done it by currently 1.3, 1.4 right now. So I think this is a pretty reasonable point right there. We're going to come down again, extrude, and I'm going to come down probably about right here. And there we go. I think this could be moved up a little bit. Maybe like that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to select these, but I don't want to select both of these rings. It's going to be easier for me to select just the faces. So I'm just going to go to face mode and select these guys like this. Boom, like that. And I'm going to extrude like we did last time. Place it back where it was with right click and scale out. So it's kind of like a little ribbon. There you go. And we'll go back into normal mode. And you can kind of see the beginning starting to form. I just realized that we don't even have a middle for our hat. So I'm going to go to edge select this edge, and I'm going to click Alt and left click, and that will select the whole outer edge. I'm going to do what I did last time, which was extrude, place it back where it was with right click, shrink it back down to about where it was. Actually, I'm going to leave it where it was again. Go to 7 so I can see where the extrusion's at, and then shrink it down from here. And put it right back to where it was last time, right there. Then I'm going to press E again, and I'm going to extrude it inward. Perfect. And I'm going to actually grab that by Shift Alt clicking. I'm going to select this edge again and shrink it down, actually, just a little bit. So that no clipping happens through here and here. And there we go. Now we're going to go back into our regular mode. And I do want to hit this edge select button here, here, not there. here. See if I could get it. I don't think I could get it in solid mode. That edge is right here. Okay. And here. Nope. Here. Okay. These ones. And this one. I'm going to right click. And we're going to look for something called mark seam. Or actually edge crease, I think is what it is. You want it to go purple. Purple like a purple pink. All right. So I've got my final product right here. This is my little top hat. Um, now I want to color the top hat. One thing that you can do is I want this ribbon to be red and I want this to be like a black. So what I'm going to do is do what I did before. We're going to go into edit mode. We're going to go into see-through mode and we're just going to select this whole ribbon right here. Okay, so once you have it selected, you're going to want to go into here. You're going to want to click separate by material, or I'm sorry, separate by selection. And there you go. Now we've got two separate pieces. As you can see, a new object has been created, cylinder and cylinder 001. This is going to be our ribbon. And then this is going to be the rest of the hat. So now that we're done with this, let's go into shade viewport so we can kind of see what we're doing and how the light's affecting everything. We're going to go into material tab inside a cylinder. We're going to create a new material type. And I want my hat to be black. Like I said before, I want my hat to be black, but I don't want it to be like this. It's like very, very shiny. It's not cloth. It doesn't really it's too refractive. So I'm gonna higher the roughness down so it's got like a matte black feel to it. And it's still kind of got that glass look kind of. See, like that looks like super glass. So we're gonna actually put the roughness all the way up. See what the iCore does. No, do 1.5 iCore or IOR. Another thing we can edit is this surface. It's set as principal BDSF or BSDF. We can change that to a different type based on what look we're going for. So, for example, let's say I want to do something. I want you guys to experiment, go through here and see how you feel about the different settings and how each individual different setting um, can provide you help with your models. So for the next material that I want, material 0.002, this is going to be under cylinder 001, which is our ribbon. I want that to be red. Right? Like I want it to be like a nice red, but I want it to be kind of desaturated. So maybe closer to here. Like yeah, like right there, like that. Again, it's got that sheen to it from Principal BDSF or BSDF. Uh, I'm just gonna use the same that I used for this one. So this was glossy. Um, I think diffuse is roughly what I'd want. Yeah, I like diffuse. Let's go with diffuse on this one as well. All right, so now that we're in rendered view, this is what my hat looks like. I could probably like do I'll show you another way you can color. Instead of separating your one object into several different objects, you can actually go into color mode, go into here. We're going to select the ones that we want. I want the entire inside of this hat to be a different material. So we're going to go in here, we're going to click new material type. This material type is going to be I still want it to be black, but I want it to be like a, yeah, like a lighter black, like more closer to gray. And now that I have this selected, we're going to select, well, hold up, let me change this. All right, so now that I have this selected, I'm going to click assign. So it assigns this color inside of this object to every single face in this object. Okay, so now you can see that the hat is black, the ribbon is red, and the inside of the hat is kind of a gray, right? I want the top part of this hat to be red, but I want the top part of the inside of the hat to be red. And I want it to match this same color. So since we've already made this object is already sitting at this like color object is sitting at material 0.002. That's the name of this. Um, so to do that, we're gonna just keep our object, and instead of separate that face down there, we're just gonna assign the color to the face. So like we did before, but this time we're using an existing color instead of making one. And you can do that by clicking what you want, right? We're gonna add a new material. We're going to select the material that was used to create the ribbon. And now we've got this ribbon underneath inside of this object, even though nothing's selected. We're going to select the object, go into edit mode, select the face. And I'm going to change this color to this, and I'm going to click assign. And there we go. And now we've got like a little red top inside the hat. Okay. So now I'm going to turn back on Suzanne. I'm going to group these two objects together. Join. Control join. All right. I'm going to shrink the hat to fit Suzanne a little bit better. Let's check our camera. Okay. I'm going to go back into this mode so that the shading isn't messing with the way I'm looking at the object. I'm going to grab it, press R and rotate it at about a 15-degree angle. Move it down just so it fits right on top of the head. Scale up, down, and you gotta, you just do what you think is right. There. I think that's pretty good. A bit down, actually. Make sure nothing's clipping on the sides. And then from here, we are going to color Suzanne. So we're going to make a new color. New color. I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. So I kind of want a dark brown material, I guess. All right. Now we're going to go into this object, press tab. So I have actually complicated this for myself because I subdivided this to try and make it look a little smoother. This might complicate things for me specifically. Um, but what I'll do is I'm actually going to delete this object and I'll import a new Suzanne. And there we go. Material type and there. Shade smooth. I'll just use the existing black material that we have. Oop, hold up. I'm just going to use the existing black material we have. So I'll just import material 001 and use that for the iris. We'll click assign. And then for this one, I'm going to do like a white. Why did I do that? Add new material type. No. And then assign the material. And I'm actually, looks like there's a little bit of clipping going on in the object. I'm going to move it back just in the slightest. There. Okay, so I have finished with my object. Now I'm going to render this out. This is my camera view, and you simply go to your camera view by pressing 0 on the numpad. Um, but I want my guy to look straight at the camera, so I'm going to put this at 0. Going to transform location. I want it at 0, 0, 0 with a rotation of 0 and a rotation of 0. If you set everything to 0, the camera actually faces down. I just like resetting all the settings until I get what I want. Um, I'm going to put 90 degrees on the x-axis, and then this green one, I want to back it up on the green axis, which is you could look right here, the y-axis. I'm going to do it by maybe like, let's just say 1 or 2. I don't know how much that is. Okay, that might be reasonable. I'll do -10. There. We'll go into our camera view to see what it's like. I like that. I'm just going to raise it just a smidge. That's going to be our z-axis, so we're going to go up by 2. Actually, we go up by 1. There. And, actually, okay, cool. I like 0.4. All right, so now in the process, you should have your object set, colored, and we should also have a camera. So now we're going to go into shade mode and see what our object looks like. And it looks a little bit dark. I'm not actually liking this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this and I'm going to get a different light. You get a light by pressing Shift A. And I actually want an area light. Let's see what area light does. We're going to go to 0, see how it's affecting our scene. I'm going to put the area light just above his head and expand it. And then we're going to go into light settings down here on the right. and we're gonna up the wattage. We'll leave it as the color is white, I guess, and then keep upping it until we get something more reasonable that we would like. I'm gonna say 200. We'll see what that does. It's a little bit harsh, honestly. And don't forget to experiment with these lights that we got going on here. We got a point light, we've got the sun, we got a spotlight, and we have an area light. Actually gonna try all these different ones because I don't know which ones will work in the best for this. So I'm gonna move the light, I think, just above the camera. I'm gonna rotate it at the guy that we're looking at. Now we go into 0. Change it to spot, see what that does. See if that's any better. Custom distance. See if we can. Right there. Not even doing anything. That's working. I want the sun to be like a yellow. And and the wattage is way too high. So I'm going to keep lowering this wattage strength until I find just the right amount. I think we're getting there. I'm liking this. 30, too much still. 25, too much. 10. 10 looks all right. In fact, I want to change the color, Susan, just a little bit. Yeah, if you'd like to add a background, actually, we'll start with a plane instead. I'm going to move the plane down, expand it just a little bit, just enough for the whole scene. So go into the camera to see what we'll be seeing. S and Control, and I want that back corner to fill the camera view. Then I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to go to edge select. I'm going to select this edge right here. I'm going to go to 3 because I want it on this axis. I'm going to extrude it and go up with it. And I'm going to say probably about right here. Check our camera to see if that's pretty reasonable. Okay. I'm going to select this edge, press Control B to bevel, and then I'm going to move it. I'm not going to click it yet. I'm going to scroll up to increase the amount of bevels that are happening. Let's just say about, that looks pretty reasonable. And we're going to do it right there on that line. Boop. There we go. I'm going to shade smooth. And I think I'm actually going to change this sun back to white again. It's changing the colors of everything. And there we go. We have our first scene done. So I'm going to go 0, and we're going to look at it. And we're finally going to go out and we're going to render it. The rendering engine, we're going to be using Eevee. This won't matter right now. That's the amount of sampling that you're going to have to use, but we're only rendering a picture, so it won't really matter. I want the resolution to be 1920 by 1080. If you want to have a vertical scale for like YouTube Shorts or anything like that, you can. Frame rate, I'll do 30 FPS because I like 30 FPS. Frame start to stop, it shouldn't matter because there's no moving objects. So we're going to go to output. This is sent to a TMP. This is a temp folder. I'm going to actually change it. Oh, okay. There's already some of my animations in here. So we're going to go, I'm just going to leave that as is, but you can change that to like your videos folder or your, or any folder that you want. I'm going to leave it set as PNG, but this is where we'll change it to different file types in the future. And then that's it. So now that that's done, now you could go into the top left corner. We've got everything set. And I'm going to hit render, render image. Or you could press F12. And there you go. That's your first image. Okay, so I finally got my my temp file folder pulled up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, I'll redo it for you guys. Go to image. Once the render comes up, image, save. And I want the save to go into my temp folder that I told you about. Where is that? And I'm going to name this just hat. And we're going to click save image as. Make sure, I'm going to go make sure that it's in my folder. All right, and there it is. Our picture of Suzanne with her top hat. That's going to conclude this week's assignment. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next week.